Hi there. It's June 28th, Journal 93. That means it's got to be T plus 87, less than 2 weeks to go. Had a transfusion yesterday, as I kind of expected I would. I was really glad that I had it yesterday, as opposed to having to wait the weekend. But I didn't get the bump from it, the energy bump from it that I usually get. And you would normally think that that would cause, a rash of self-pity and feeling sorry for myself, or um, start a tirade of complaints, and that's not the case. There were two things that happened today that were profound in how they reminded me of all the things that I have to be grateful for. So I'd kind of like to share them with you because I think it's important. Because these kinds of things can be found in the oddest places, and if you're not looking, somewhat like wandering through the forest, you won't see the trees. Uh, One of the things that happened that wouldn't be a big deal for most people uh, watching this is having friends come out to visit us, and to allow us to show them the campus out here at the City of Hope. I feel like I ought to be a docent at this point. I'm learning so much about the campus. And certainly, we're always grateful to have somebody come out. Um, One of the things that we had an opportunity to do before I started my treatment, this part of my treatment, the transplant process, was to explore some of the restaurants in this area. And there are some excellent restaurants out here. Um, but I know, I know our friends didn't come here for the food because of me and because of their commitment not to have me watch them eat, especially really good food, was to join me in the cafeteria and to order the kind of stuff that I'm more or less restrained to eating. Um, and it was nice because it gives me a chance to show this place off, and how different it is from most other places that do the same kinds of things, and gave me an opportunity to share with them how grateful I am for all the brilliant doctors and committed nurses that are out here. So that was one of the things that I had to be grateful for. And it was a wonderful conversation because they watched this blog and almost embarrassed because they knew things that I had talked about, in some instances almost better as far as the content went than I did. And gratitude has to be an overriding theme throughout all of these things: attitude and gratitude. And the next thing that happened later on, uh, in the early afternoon, was a meeting with my editor, my book editor, for Misfire, and we're done. I mean, we're finishing up the last couple of items that have to be perfect, which is my neuroses, before we send it to the printer for an estimate and then get it done. And one of the things that we decided to do was to combine two elements of what we were referring to as front matter and back matter. Uh, and that was a couple of pages of acknowledgments, which are always important, I think, because in any work of consequence, the artist, the writer, the sculptor, the painter, um, the political scientist doesn't accomplish whatever it is they were attempting on their own by themselves. There are a lot of elements involved, foundational building blocks involved in getting them to wherever they are. And I had that, as well as a section in the back of the book entitled Special Thanks. And special thanks are special. And I kind of separated acknowledgments from special thanks. And in discussing it with Frederick, my editor, we decided that perhaps it would make more sense if the two were merged together and appeared together, because the sentiment that they express was really virtually the same thing, and that is that you don't spend years of your life putting together uh, something as complicated and comprehensive as the kind of book I insisted on writing without the help of others. And part of that issue is recognizing how you got here. How you wound up acquiring all the talents and abilities that you managed to collect and drag behind you like Marley's chains in the Ghost of Christmas Past, Dickens' Christmas Carol. Um, from the moment, almost the moment I started my career as a speaker and educator, trade journalist, uh, and with the exception of the first speech I ever wrote, the Give Me Your Tie and Broken Car speech, uh, I was surrounded by generous, caring, competent, professional um, mentors and professionals. From the first editor who gave me the opportunity to write, uh, and all the editors subsequently that have been so helpful in allowing me to create the kind of work I could be proud of, ensuring that it was done well and professionally correct. Uh, to the publishers who sold the space in the magazines necessary to go ahead and buy enough ink to print them. But especially to two people who really deserves additional and special thanks to be singled out for the beginning part of my career, and that would be Art Epstein and Ray Walker, and you've heard me talk about them before in other posts. Uh, the founder and president and CEO or the CEO and president of Packerland Automotive back what feels like a million years ago, who got me started on this compulsion for management and leadership education. Um, my parents, my mother, who was an English teacher, former English teacher, who helped me learn how to write properly, and insisted that I learn how to write properly, and my dad, who taught me all about professionalism, to Ken Brookings and Chris Frederick, two dear friends who influenced my life in so many different ways. My coach, Paul Collison, um, my editor, Frederick Haugen, and of course our son, Ryan Schneider, who's instrumental in helping me to ensure that this book would get finished when I wasn't sure that I would be able to do it, and who committed to getting it done in the event that I couldn't. Also, there were a number of readers. I wanted to ensure that the book was not only a good story, but that it had substantive information in it that would help change a small businessman's life, an entrepreneur's ability to run a business successfully, profitably. And those readers, worked their way through section after section of the book and answered questions and provided comments that I believe made the book a much better read. So instead of being upset or frustrated because I didn't get the bump that I feel I should have gotten, it has nothing to do with medical reality, by the way. It has to do with perception, which is my reality to some degree. I had the opportunity to really sit down and reread the acknowledgments and special thanks, um, recognizing how fortunate I am, how lucky I am, how grateful I am and continue to be for all the wonderful people that have chosen to enter and participate in my life, and the friends we've been fortunate enough to make over the years. And I think that's worthy of discussion. I think just like everybody should sit down and write that everybody should sit down and write a resume. I think everybody should sit down and write a resume of gratitude, perhaps. I don't know what to call it, listing all of the people that have been instrumental in their lives and help them to achieve whatever it is that they've accomplished and get to where they wanted to go to help make those dreams reality. I think it's humbling, and I think that it also helps you to recognize how fortunate we all are to be where we are, to be with whom we choose to be doing what we love to do. Um, there's a lot there, and you have until tomorrow to think about it. So go to work. Uh, Stay well and take care. We'll talk more then.